Friends, today we're going to be watching the New World Forged in Eternum community Q&A for November 2023. It does look like they've got some pretty exciting stuff to talk about here. For me, where is it? There was one about locking attributes. If they plan to lock attributes to gear sets, God, that would be so good, dude. Imagine if you could change a gear set, it would change all your attributes with it. I would love that so much. Fingers crossed that's what they actually mean. If you're watching this on YouTube, if it does go to YouTube, I'll put a link to the video in the description down below. But you guys seem to enjoy these sort of reacts here. So, yeah, let's go in and see what they have to say. Also, I noticed it's not Scott, Dev, and Katie. I think it's Scott, and Dave. So we got double Scott action. I think that's Scott on the left. Let's find out.
Why don't we get more info about why you make certain balance changes? AGS just makes random explosive changes but misses to underline it with reasoning and goals for us to comprehend.
The truth is we have a 20-sided dice we keep in the back.
I thought it was the blind monkeys typing.
It's a dartboard.
Yes, it's a dartboard.
I hope that's a serious question. I hope they do give a serious answer.
Hey everybody, welcome to Forge in
Unless that is what they do.
About all things
There's
New
Scott.
World.
So that's Scott,
And
chat.
I hope you all
Scott
had
Lane.
a great holiday weekend wherever you are. Today we're doing the November Q&A. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Lovin and we are going to get started immediately.
Can you tell us why Season 4 has less content? What is new to the game, as many of the features on the roadmap are either not happening or later in that season?
Yeah, what's causing the delay, Scott?
I tried to address this in the game dev or the development update. We're coming off of a huge release, the return of the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, and we had a few quality mishaps there. So we wanted to make sure that going forward, that doesn't happen again. We want to focus on high quality deliverables. And so because of that, we decided to hold a few things back. On top of that, you know, when we talked about Cross-World Expeditions, which was planned for Season 4, we really wanted to lean into it and go for a full pug finder because we think that would be a much better experience for players, and that's going to cost us a little more time as well. So we're hearing people say they'd rather us go a little slower and deliver at a higher quality, and we're going to do that in earnest going forward.
What do you think about that, chap? Go slower, but get it right? I mean, I kind of like it. I don't know. I mean, in an ideal world, they would go fast and get it right, but clearly that can't happen. So the compromise that they take longer to get features into the game, I don't know, man. I think this is a good. It's probably the right call, but it's still kind of either way. You know, it's like a rock in a hard place, right? You don't really want either, but yeah, it means they have to actually get it right. That's true. If this feature comes in and it is bugged now, you know, if they take more time and still get it wrong, holy flip! What did we do? Yeah, I still don't trust them to get it right. Yeah, it's a bunch of you guys saying that. That could be rough. Another question here on the loot system. Let's see.
All right, new loot system. Is great that we can drop something that we were already wearing, using, but why are all these staff still dropped with totally random perks? I got INT gloves with STR weapons perk. This is a situation where after 35 expeditions, I can't get any single item that I'm able to use. Do you see the problem or it's intended?
So this question is about loot biasing. So the way loot biasing works is that some percentage of your drops will be loot biased. It's important to realize not all of them are also, right? So sometimes they're not. And that's good because it'll allow you to get loot in different gear sets that you're trying to.
It's a pretty good feature.
What loot biasing does is it makes sure that the attributes in the weapon are aligned.
But the perks can be complete garbage.
Some of the uninteresting perks from those loot biasing perks. But we don't currently bias weapon perks. So those can sometimes be a mismatch. And I think, you know, that's partially intentional because I think we want those perks to be very special and something that may be more oriented towards crafting, or you have to get a special named item. So that's the way it currently works, and no immediate plans to change that.
I think that's probably okay.
All right,
You're gonna have BIS so
many
fast.
gamers leaving again because of the missing grind. Instead of ward, we have now enchanted ward and health. Every second player is using a fire staff, and there is no reason to craft anymore once you have your 2 to 3 sets. I bought every season pass, many skins, emotes, and the DLC. Why should I continue to play?
Oh.
Well, first, thank you for your deep commitment.
So the question is, like, why should I keep playing the game? Because I've got my gear sets, you know, I've done that. Like, what's the reason to keep playing now? So that was the question. Why should I keep playing New World?
In the game so much, buying all that stuff, like we appreciate it and we try to make the game as good as possible. I think we've learned in the past that having too much grind is a bad thing. And so we've pulled back on that and tried to make it more fun and to make the chases more interesting that can change gameplay with things like artifacts. Once you get through that, there are still a lot of other things you can do. There's, I still find chest runs fun. I know that's a little goofy. I mean, you can play music instruments, there's fishing, all the other trade skills. There's working on your house, there's changing your character through transmog. I think there's multiple vectors of the end game depending on what type of player you are. And we had to try to bias toward the broader group as far as the gear chase and the grind. So like we totally appreciate you playing, and I'm sorry if the changes like took away like some of that end game grind for you, but hopefully you can find some fun in other areas.
So Scott's solution is, if you're finding it hard to find what to do, go fishing, and what was the other? Chest runs. There you go. Fishing and chest runs. Now, I mean, it's true. It's true what he's saying, that there is, there is a wider variety of content in New World. The problem is if you just like one particular thing, like if you just like PvP, then you don't have too much to do. And saying to a PvP player, you should go fishing, or you should do a chest run, or you should decorate your house with furniture, it's just not going to work. They want more of the content they enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. Not the best answer. I get what he's saying, but at the same time, it doesn't really work if you're not, if you're not into fishing. You just, yeah. Anyway.
And I've been enjoying, like, for me, it's been an opportunity to try out more builds, right? Because it is a little bit easier. It's like, hey, let me try out some different things, which has been really fun. And artifacts play well into that, right? Like every time I get an artifact, I'm like, all right, I want to create a build around this. What can I do? And I think that's...
Just to further clarify, by the way, I think it should be, like, it's not bad for them to try and encourage you to do other things. Like, with the PvP rewards track, some players who just strictly do PvE, they just do fishing or they just do mutations, and now they have to jump into 3v3 arena. Some of them are enjoying it, maybe not a lot of them, but I don't think it's bad to encourage people to do different types of content, but yeah, I don't know. I still see why some of you guys aren't happy with that answer.
It's fun.
Yeah, and also like the outpost rush and arenas, they change every time.
Mr.
Like,
Stretchini, thank you for the
I
prime
still
sub.
find it fun, it's challenging, it's, that.
Thank you, Mr. Stretchini.
Playing against people is a little different.
When will Dark Ascent be fixed?
The heart rune.
That will be
Scott.
fixed in the next upcoming minor.
Senior gameplay engineer.
Okay, cool.
Very soon.
Stop putting prismatic drops in aptitude boxes. This is breaking the farm market. The market will collapse in 1 month.
Boom.
I love the great omniscience here.
Alden, hey, thanks for the 100 bits.
I do believe, and we're going to
Scott
talk
Senior
about
and
this
Scott
more.
Junior?
There are some issues with the economy. I don't believe like the prismatic items right now are holding their value pretty well. We definitely saw a decrease over time, which is normal, right? Like they come out white hot, especially because they're all cooldown based, and they've come down. But we've seen the prices settle, and I think they're at a healthy-ish level right now. So we're not seeing anything right now. We will keep our eye on this, obviously. If they did start to decrease again, we would look at it. I think the aptitude boxes are a place we would look. Also, we have some of the nodes a little higher. So there's
Wait, are they putting prismatics into aptitude boxes, chat?
Are you sure the way you balance perks makes your community happy? For example, Shirking Heals was broken at the start because of the interaction with the Ankh.
Yeah.
Has been fixed and balanced. With the last update, it has been nerfed again, but now that it has tens of CDs, it's a completely useless perk, and anyone who has it in their gear should simply throw it away and start over again.
So let me just step back here, because this is a great question, and I think we are happy about some things and unhappy about others. I think what I am really happy about is that the pace of change, like how often we put up balance updates, has increased dramatically previous to last year. If you remember, we were admittedly a little slow, and that was a goal of ours. Let's make balance changes more often. And I think we've hit that, and I'm very happy with that. I think the magnitude of our change here recently might have been a little bit too strong. I think, especially with balance, like I like making big meta shifting changes with expansions or when we do a big perk rework. But outside of that, I think we need to be making a little more constrained changes and sort of pushing our way towards balance. So here I think, with the Shirking Heals, I do think we overshot a little bit with the 10 seconds. We'll go into details a little bit in Balance of Power on why we did that. But that is something that we're looking at, and we are going to be pulling back a little bit on that change.
I'd add that in the past, if you go back a year or earlier, there was a lot of feedback that we weren't making enough change fast enough. We were nudging forward, nudging, and sometimes you have to go too far and then pull back. And I think this is an example where we probably did that, but A lot of the other times it's worked out, and this one, it's correctable.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about the gold sink? People are quitting.
Well, here we go, chat.
Economy. It's a hard topic. Right now, I can observe the situation that in many different cases, we are not able to earn money.
Yeah.
Loot from the dungeon is 99% bonded, unable to sell it.
Chat's always
And
saying this stuff.
Crafting. Product is cheaper than all the mats needed to craft it. Gold sinks drain wallets mostly from casual players.
Nobody has
Will
gold.
you be able to justify the crafting gold sink? It costs 55,000 gold per week on chromatic orbs and Azoth inductor with little ways of balancing this out. Could this be added to mutations? Have you tried to fix resource prices?
It keeps
it's
going.
getting worse now and seems out of balance. For example, the prices of runewood and spin fiber are very cheap now. How do you fix it?
Yes, the chromatic seals and the Azoth inductors are a big gold sink right now.
Yeah.
And generally that's more of an opt-in situation. So the more time-rich players that have a lot of stockpiled gold and things like that are spending on that. And because it's a time-based thing, it's something that more casual players that accumulate some wealth can also participate in and not feel like they're falling far behind. That does slow down the rate of how much is being crafted in the economy, and that goes to the prices of the resources that you mentioned that were crashing. In the winter update, we're going to have additional sources for the chromatic seals and the Azoth inductor. So that should actually increase the rate of higher end items being crafted and bring those prices back up, we think.
Yeah. And it's important to note those are additional ways to get these, right? So we'll still have the faction store, but there are additional ways, and there are ways that won't have coin sinks in them. So it'll be a way to get these that even casuals, super casuals, can get very easily.
Yes, and that's a really good point because
Still don't feel like this answers the question.
one of our main goals in the economy is to prevent like a huge wealth gap between time-rich players and more casual players, right?
Or that
and
exists,
so,
though.
from the data that we've been looking at, what we call the Gini index, right? Which there was a deep dive video with the economy team, so you can go look at that up to get more information on that. But the ratio between how much wealth more casual players and like very hardcore players have has shrunk with this change, and so that was something that we wanted to do, and it's meeting our expectations right now in terms of the economy.
Yeah, I feel like they still don't really answer the question there. They kind of like answered things around the edge of the question, but they still ultimately didn't address the fact that like the gold sink is there. I mean, maybe they want the gold sink there, but they're just not saying it, but they want to slowly have everybody lose all of their gold, apart from the time rich or the the gold buyer, basically. They just need to remove the gold from owning a city and give some other perks that fixes the gold issue. Yeah, but then would there be enough reason? I don't know. I genuinely wonder if wars didn't have any gold tied to it, would it? I wonder how that would affect the content. If there was no gold in gaining territory and it was purely just for the enjoyment of war, there would definitely still be some players, but I wonder how much of a change that would make. I'm not saying they should do it, but just an interesting thought. They want to shrink the wealth cap, which they said is being accomplished, so I guess they're just going to leave it going for now then, right? Max and Mad Lady, good to see you, bud. Shulgi, thank you so much for the 4 months. All right, let's go next question, chat. Let's go. How long we've been watching for? 10 minutes? Okay.
Will there be option added for Magnify that we can lock the attributes we added?
Yes,
so eating
please.
food will not change whole set.
Please.
Also, when Amplify going to be added to the game?
Please, 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 please. That question, chat. Look at that question. Will there be an option for Magnify so we can lock attributes we added? Yeah, dude, come on. Will there be an option for Magnify to not screw us over? Please. I hope there's a good answer to this.
So we've talked about Magnify in the past. Our stance on this is still the same. No immediate changes planned. We sort of like how it works in that I think it works well with like 2 to 3 pieces of Magnify. Once you start getting more, it can make some swaps difficult. But for a single build, I think it's very casual friendly. And if you go a ton of Magnify, it can create issues. But I think that's part of the pros and cons of this, right? The balance is like, hey, I can easily get a Magnify thing, but then it may become a little more challenging. Or I can get a custom drop or craft something, and then it works better with my build. So that is working. I will say we are still looking at it. We may make some changes, but nothing really planned in the near term here.
Dude, I want to say, okay, Dave, in response to this, Mr. David V, you say, oh, you could just get a custom or crafted drop. You can't, dude. How do I get a custom or crafted version of this thing? Okay? I'm forced to have Magnify with this. Most people, as we move further into the game and we get more artifacts, you will always have a minimum of 3 artifacts in your build. You can have an artifact weapon, artifact armor, artifact jewelry, unless your solution is just don't use artifacts, but that seems dumb. What? So if you're using 3 artifacts, you simply cannot afford to have any gear with Magnify because it's forced upon you through the artifacts. So I think stinky answer. Don't like it, Dave. I'm sorry, man. I'm vetoing that one. I'm going in, okay? Because you force us to have Magnify with the artifacts, and artifacts are cool. I want to use them, but they got Magnify in every single one, other than the stupid hat that nobody wants to use. Right. Anyway, there's a rant, but I think it's worth saying there's no crafted alternative to artifacts. They're wholly unique, but they are forced Magnify. All right, let's go. Keep moving.
Companies can now own 5, 6, 7 territories and defend them easily. I haven't been in a war since the first 4 months of the game. Why is this content so gated and so one-sided that a single company can own everything?
Well, it was a decision we made early, and I agree they can, but when you look at the data, it's pretty rare actually to see a company own more than 3. However, all that said, I still agree with it, and it's something we're talking about pretty heavily internally, doing a review on and maybe making some adjustments.
And I think there are some minor scheduling adjustments coming out in Season 4 that will make this a touch harder because there'll be more overlapping wars.
Touch harder to own multiple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's not, that's one step. We'll see what the impact of that is. And I agree with Scott. We'll continue looking at this.
If you're going to gatekeep us from getting 700 gear score gear in PvP, why not allow us to obtain it through PvP progression or ranking system? Top 50% in arena access to 690, top 25% 700 gear score, top 5 to 10% PvP exclusive mounts, titles, skins, anything?
I kind of like it.
So I'm going to address the first part of this question because I think that's the bigger one. Should we be gatekeeping? Are we going to be continue to gatekeep? And the answer there is no. Like, that was not our intent, was that we didn't want like only the good gear comes from PvE and not from PvP. So we are making a number of changes in Season 4 to address this. I think the first one is PvP weapon upgrading will be returned on and be working now, right? So you can get, when you get a cool champion piece of gear, you can now turn it to 700 gear score, upgrading it like you can other named items. That's going to be huge. So that'll be one source. The second thing is we are improving the caches that come out of OPR. And we all play OPR. I know the community loves it. So the quality of that loot will be better. It'll be more loot biased. Does it go up to 700 now? Higher. So I think that will also help. So, and this is one step. We'll continue to look at it. We, philosophically, we agree that we want PvP to be a way you can gear yourself out. That is our goal, and we're going to continue to push towards that.
Somebody told me that the items that come from Outpost Rush boxes, you can't get health on them. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, it's pretty bad. Maybe that's being changed as well. But yeah, I think right now, like PvP rewards track and Outpost Rush box, it's like super rare that you get any items above 675 gear score. So, I mean, as somebody who does PvE and PvP, I don't mind it, but I can see why some people find it upsetting. Let's go. Next question.
I'd like to see the freezing at login issue addressed. I have to end task and restart the game usually at least 3 to 5 times before it will launch properly.
Just don't click
What usually
anything.
happens, launch game, it gets to the swirling colors animation, and that is so lagged in like 3 frames per second. It eventually gets to a solid white screen and just freezes up. Sometimes that first animation will work, then at the AGS smile logo, it slows down and freezes up again.
I don't have this issue, but
yeah,
it
so
sounds
I think
pretty bad.
that one is, we have that fixed internally. And
Do you guys get that issue,
fix
chat?
should be going out to players either in the next minor or the next major patch. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Get a better PC.
Is the health perk Adamant going to get easier to get?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Right now, there is the one way you can get it through an aptitude
A bunch of you guys
test,
have
and
that
we're
issue.
looking at giving other venues for delivery.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, in Season 4, it will now be a part of the general loot table in some areas, so it'll become
Yeah, you can get it from chests.
much easier.
Health is going to be much easier to get.
The new dungeon, Glacial Tarn, is quite good, but feels a bit empty. Are you planning to add more trash mobs to fill it out a bit more?
It's only got 30 enemies in it or
Thanks.
something,
Yeah,
chat.
we are liking the dungeon. I think it played well in PTR. It's super fun. I like the dichotomy of it and Forge a lot. We also agree with your feedback, and I think we heard it from a number of people in the PTR, that there were some dead areas in the expedition. And the expedition team is taking that feedback to heart, and
Edit out, Jack.
we found at least 2 other areas where we're sort of creating a pack of trash. So we are adding some, and I think this will be sufficient, and we'll see how it plays.
It's the first time I've ever heard a community asking for more trash mobs.
More
It can be
trash.
fun as you're plowing through.
Any plans to ban exploiters permanently?
Whoa.
It's so frustrating trying to play PvP with people who abuse bugs and exploits like the rapier one.
There's an
or
exploit
even
with a
worse,
rapier?
cheating. And what about bots and gold sellers? 2 years of game and still the same.
Dude, this is like the guy that comes into chat every day, and he's always asking, he's always suggesting that we should just allow Amazon to sell gold, because there's gold sellers and gold buyers, so they could either ban all of them or allow Amazon to sell gold. The question for that guy. All right, here we go.
So we have made a lot of progress in terms of our capability to detect and action players for gold selling, chat violations, botting, and exploits. So we do permanently ban some exploiters. Generally, our threshold there is relatively high, I would say. Like, we don't want to ban people that don't really deserve it or made a mistake or something. But, repeated abuse of an exploit where, AGS has announced like, hey, we know this is happening, don't do this, or we've disabled some functionality or something because it's gotten too rampant. Like, we've definitely acted on that. As far as like bots and like RMT stuff, we are, every month we have ban waves going out. We have EAC, like banned software detection, and we do hardware ID bans based on that. And then we, there's a lot of reporting going on, which is good. Like, if you see someone doing something in the game that's an exploit or toxic behavior, definitely report them. But we've also started to see some people doing reporting as a service, like kind of like to harass people essentially. And so that's something we're also detecting and banning. If you're participating in that sort of behavior.
That's good to hear.
So, it's a lot to investigate. Like our CS team is super busy and our security team is super busy, but we're always making improvements there.
Yeah, I think, not quite fair to say it's the same thing as it's been. I think our CS team, our engineering team, our security team have put in a huge effort since launch to improve on this. And I know that if you see or you run into an occurrence, it's a problem and it's no fun. But we really take it serious, and it's a big deal to us. There's been a lot of work by everyone to help with this stuff.
Would you please give an in-depth explanation of luck in New World?
Oh, here we go, dude.
Please. How long do you have?
Luck in New World.
So, super high level, there's 2 types of luck, right? There's gathering
3-hour
luck,
video
and then there's
chat, let's
global
go.
luck. And the gathering luck is specific to like, chopping down trees, mining, like the trade skills. And that increases your chance of getting like the rare special items along with whatever the base resources you were trying to harvest.
Yeah, we know this one. Gathering luck.
The global luck, though, is sort of applied to, chests that you open in the world, not OPR or portal chests. Those are not affected by luck, but like ECR chests, loot drops from enemies and named enemies, and those kinds of things. And so the way the luck works is the luck bonus from the perk on your items, like those stack up. So 2%, 2%, 2% gives you 6% luck bonus. And that's just added to the roll that you make on a loot table or something. And so generally the way our loot tables are structured is you're gonna have with more luck, you're gonna have a chance to roll higher, which will unlock some things to now be droppable in some cases. Not all loot tables are set up that way, but it doesn't change how the gear score that drops or the perks or anything like that.
He did say
it's really just like
something.
whether something drops or not. And the things that are most affected by that would be like recipes and schematics, named weapons, for example.
Yeah.
And in named weapons, like if a named enemy can drop a bunch of different named weapons, like it increases the chance of you getting a named weapon, not a particular one.
Okay.
So yeah, that's sort of in a nutshell how all that works.
There you go,
So
chat.
let me ask, is it like, I'm trying to conceptualize this for people. So basically you have like a general loot bucket. And if I roll a certain number, I open up a better loot bucket.
Think of it as like a line, right? And so normally you can only roll in this range. And now when you add luck, it increases both your floor and your ceiling. So now things that are higher up on that line are now you have a chance to roll on, and it sort of like pushes up the bottom.
What he's not describing though, chat, is this line that he's talking about is like 3 miles long, and when you add luck, it adds about an inch to either side of it. It's like it's almost negligible how much of a difference it makes. It technically does make a difference, but once again, the line is like 3 miles long, and you take an inch either side, so it's just so bleh. Just doesn't do anything, man.
So we have different types of loot tables. We have what we call and or tables. So an and table is the higher your roll, you get everything, a chance at everything. And an or one is like you only get one thing, but now you can roll the better stuff on this end. And so the increasing the floor makes it less like you're gonna get like common or like not great
How
stuff.
high does the ceiling go?
All the way. Generally rolls are out of like 10,000, and so like a luck perk of like 1% is like a bonus of 100 on your roll, and so I think it really depends on how the particular table is set up and what rarity we want an item to be, and for some special things we have like pity tickers, right? Like for example, for the Rabbit's Revenge, we have like the chest and the mask, and after
with the Turkey event
like
as well,
200 and 400 kills or something like that, like you're guaranteed to get it. But for the vast majority of things, like just having more luck is going to make it more likely that you'll get it at some point. But all the rolls are still totally independent for the most part.
All right.
dude. All right. I mean, it's gonna be said. Okay. I love the fact that Amazon does these videos. I do like the devs. I've had a chance to talk to Dave personally. I do believe they're good dudes, but man, I just think they shouldn't have bothered answering a question about luck. I feel like it didn't really help anybody. It took up like 5 minutes of the video, and it's probably just made people angry. I don't know, man. I don't think I would have just picked any other question rather than talking about luck. Whatever. Anyway, that's my opinion.
So, are there plans to address teleporting during races? It could be particularly frustrating when your faction has lower numbers and you are unable to assist by sending additional people to the point.
It is really annoying.
Yeah, so right now we don't have any plans to change the teleport mechanics. Right now, it's a server stability issue. Like, combat is a very expensive operation, and so like we can only have so many people in an area before it starts degrading the experience for everyone else. So we kind of have to have some limiting factor that gets players out of that very dense block of activity. I do want to address the question though.
It's like what influence races were designed for, though.
There should not be a situation where that two of the factions don't have as many players in that fight as they can get. So we have a per faction limit, and then we have a total PvP flag player limit.
Really?
And what that means is that, we wanted, because of the server scale issues I just mentioned, we wanted to give a little bit more wiggle room for, two factions that were like really like going after it to have more players there. So the per faction limits are actually a little bit higher than what they would add up to for the total player limit. And so unless you're the third faction and you're kind of underrepresented and both other factions are both very heavily represented there, you should not be in a situation where your faction can't get more people into that particular tower.
I don't know, man. I feel like
And the towers are all independently.
Like, there's been a bunch of situations, unless this is a recent change, like, there's a lot of marauders, so during the sort of first week or second week of the expansion, like, pirates were everywhere, there was so many marauders, and then there was, like, a bunch of syndicate, and then we would show up as the Covenant, and we'd, like, bring, like, 20 people, and we'd, like, instantly get teleported out, even though there was barely any Covenant in the fight. So it doesn't feel, if that's the way it's working, it doesn't feel like it works that way, though, It feels like it doesn't choose based on faction numbers, it's just like, oh, there's 100 people there, 90% of them are Marauder, but we're going to teleport you away rather than Marauders because they're already there. I don't know. By the way, chat, the one thing, I get the frustration on the answers and stuff, but let's try and keep it civil, though. You know, just resulting to calling the dev's name or, like, you know, putting down their intelligence or anything like that. Let's just keep it civil, okay? Remember, just chill, you know, because it's like the last thing, you know. If we want to get through to the devs, just being coherent, you know, and not, like, just you know, throwing out names, it's not going to help anybody, okay? So let's just, I get the frustration. I get some of the answers are a little bit annoying, but let's just try and keep it chill, okay? We don't need to accuse them of being on narcotics or question their mental acuity or anything like that. Let's just, let's be civil, okay, friends? We can do it together. I believe in you guys.
Limited.
All right.
Here we go. Last
And,
question, I
why
think.
don't we get more info about why you make certain balance changes? AGS just makes random explosive changes but misses to underline it with reasoning and goals for us to comprehend.
It's a good question.
The truth is we have a 20-sided dice we keep in the back.
I thought it was the blind monkeys typing.
It's a dartboard.
Yes, it's a dartboard. No, I'm sorry you feel that way, and it's kind of makes us sad because, like, one of the big reasons for this show is to talk about the why that, you know, Scott just went into some of and Dave's does. On top of that, Dave runs another show that you may not be aware of called Balance of Power every Wednesday that talks about the balance changes and the reasoning behind it.
Not every Wednesday. Just the Wednesday following the Q&A update. Sorry, Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Mr. Levin. I appreciate that correction on the spot.
Oh, dude, Levin's
Some
getting
Wednesdays,
fired,
Dave
dude.
has the Balance of Power update, and those are, you know, another way to communicate with the players. So we'll take the feedback and we'll try to get better at it. It is something we've actively been working on, though. I just want to be clear so you understand that, and it's important that we explain the why behind stuff. So yeah, so we're trying, and I guess we'll have to try harder.
Yeah, I want to say if they make a change and you read the change in the patch notes, you shouldn't then have to go watch a video to have the patch. They should have a little bit of italics underneath saying why they made the change. I think that's saying that, oh, if you want to understand why we make these changes, you then need to go watch this video, and then from that video, there's going to be a document link down below, and then you click on the document, and then there's a password, you type the password, and then we have the explanation. It should all be compiled into one area for the players to be easy to understand. But yeah, that's what I think anyway. I appreciate the balance of power and everything on top, but it shouldn't be like that's how we go to get patch note explanations or whatever. I think. I don't know, again, just my opinion, but.
Okay, that is all I got.
All right, everybody. Well, that's all we're going to answer today. Thank you for the questions. We really appreciated the new format where we gave some parameters around the questions. We'd love to hear how you felt about it, if this felt a little more targeted towards stuff that, you know, answered the questions you wanted us to answer. So let us know that on, you know, however you talk to us, Reddit, X, Discord, all those great places. Want to wish everyone a great holiday season in case we don't see you. Want to thank Dave and Scott for coming in and fielding questions with us. And if you like what you saw, let us know, follow, like, subscribe, and all those fun things. Otherwise, see you in a turn.
All right, next video is going to pop up, chat. It's going to say next video, and then they're going to be talking about the roadmap for 2024. That's what's going to happen, right? Next video.
Bye-bye.
Here we go. On the next version of Turnham, roadmap for 2024. Let's go. It's going to be a chat. This is the juice. All right, next they're going to talk about New World 2024.
Today we're going to talk about what balance is like in coming up into Season 4 and with the recent release.
I mean, it'll be a good video, but yeah. It's a video with Dave. You can't get angry about a video with Dave. We love Dave. Dave, we love you, Dave. Well, I don't know what to say, friends. What did they talk about again? The luck thing? Yeah, the luck segment was a bit, I don't know, man. They should have covered that. The gold sync thing, I don't know. I feel like they answered questions, but I don't feel like I learned too much at the same time. Maybe my brain just wasn't turned on, but I feel like they answered a lot of questions, but I didn't really... I don't know, chat. What do we get from that? When will Dark Ascent be fixed? Oh, we did get an answer to that. They said that would be in the next minor update. So Dark Ascent, the Heart Rune, is getting fixed in the next minor, which I guess is tomorrow, because they take down the Turkey event tomorrow or on Wednesday. Endgame gear grind. I can't remember what they said about that. New loot system, loot biasing. They said it's working as intended. Login freeze. I don't know what the answer was. Health perk, yeah, Adamant's coming in the next update. You'll be able to get it more often. They are going to add more mobs to Glacial Tarn. They ban people, apparently, Look, we still don't know how Look works. Teleporting during influence races. Supposedly it has a bias system where it chooses the faction. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, chat. How do you guys rate that video out of 10? What are you giving it, chat? What's your rating? How many Eternum stars out of 10 do we give it that one? I'm probably gonna give it like I think I'm gonna give it a 6.4. It's definitely been better videos. There's also been worse ones. 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 2, 4. Man, there's not many people above 5. Good questions, bad answers. Yeah, 4.5, 6.4 out of 100. They're cracking down on people of using the report system. Yeah, that's true. It is good. I think you should, if you are somebody who mass reports a player just to get them out the game, like I've heard this happens in like companies and stuff where they mass report the shot caller before a war to try and get them out. That is scummy, and you deserve to be the Uno reverse card. You deserve to be banned for that if you're abusing the report system, like clearly violating it. So that's good to hear. All right, Twitch is about to play like another ad in 50 seconds, chat. I'm going to link this in the description down below. 6.5, look goes to 6.51. Yeah, the luck thing, dude. The luck segment was not great. I appreciate them for trying, but there's the link there in the chat. YouTube, by the way, if you guys enjoyed this one, if this does end up on YouTube and you enjoyed the video, as always, the like button, the subscribe button, let me know your comments down below. Twitch has been very vocal today. If you guys do want to join in the Twitch streams, again, we'll have a link to the Twitch stream in the description down below as well. But yeah, I'll catch you guys all in the next video.